Good morning, everybody. Welcome. Thank you so much for joining us today. I'm Ashley Cash, Director of Housing and Community Development, and very excited to share funding opportunities with you all. We have 3 opportunities that we're sharing information about that are here to provide safe, quality, affordable housing for our community. These funds can be accessed by nonprofit housing developers or partnerships between for-profit and nonprofit entities, and the details will be provided. Today we'll talk about the Housing Trust Fund, round 3, and that will be for repair and rehab of housing in our city. And then we also want to talk about our other 2 programs, the Home Affordable Housing Program and the Home Rental Home Ownership Program, which Jocelyn Eddins will talk about those opportunities. And so we've got a lot of great opportunities available. We know there's a lot of need in our community and some great folks with really good ideas and really good projects. And so we hope to provide you with the information you need to submit an application for funding to provide additional housing in our market. With that, Twyla, I will turn it over to you.
Good morning. Thank you, Director Cash. Glad that everybody was able to make it on today. As Director said, we will talk about some of our affordable housing programs that will be offered. And so we will first start out talking about an overview of our home programs. And if we could go to the next one, some of you may be saying, well, what is home? So the primary objective of the home program is the development of affordable housing for rent or home ownership by providing funding to provide safe, quality, and affordable housing for low, moderate income households. So make sure you key in on safe, quality, and affordable housing, which is what we're looking to do. Also, the home program expands the capacity of the nonprofit and for-profit housing developers. It strengthens the ability of state and local governments to provide housing, and we also look to leverage private sector participation. Now, we go to the next slide, and you'll see cross-cutting regulations. Basically, with federal funds, we always have federal regulations, and those include environmental reviews, fair housing, Section 3, Davis-Bacon, Section 504, which talks about American Disabilities Act, and also you see VAWA Act. This is something that's been enforced recently with HUD relative to federal regulations.
Okay, I'll talk to you about some of the eligible activities under our home funded programs. It's for new construction of housing for rent or home ownership. Rehabilitation of housing for rent or home ownership is for site acquisition or demolition of dilapidated housing to create what we call home assisted development.
Thank you, Jocelyn, for that information. And so now these are the programs that we will talk to you about on today. It's Affordable Home Bill Partnership Program, Affordable Rental Partnership Program, and the Memphis Housing Trust Fund Round 3, in which Jocelyn Eddings actually administers all 3 programs. And so now we will give you a little bit more detail relative to the Affordable Home Bill Partnership Program. With this program, it is for single family homes that are for sale, and it includes acquisition, construction, rehabilitation, or demolition.
This program is for the financial assistance to provide subsidies in the form of a loan for the development or rehab of single family homes that will be made for sale. The housing must serve what's called low to moderate income populations, and those are determined by HUD. And we provide charts in our application so that you know the exact details of these populations. All of the single family housing has to be at a sales price of $254,877 or less. That $254,877 is the cap. And that is 95% of the median purchase price for the area, which is based on the FHA single mortgage program data for new construction. Next slide, please. So some of the benefits of this program. This program is meant to help reduce development budget gaps, to help finance the construction costs within the budgets for the project, to provide direct subsidies for the construction of the houses. What we mean by subsidy is the difference between the purchase price and the fair market value of the house. This financing is meant to provide a direct subsidy to home buyers to go towards the purchase cost. And some of you may be familiar with that subsidy. It's called down payment assistance. This funding is also meant to provide a home buyer with their down payment. So the home funds do a lot to help subsidize projects, and we're trying to just break down the ways in which the home funds do that. So overall, it provides a development subsidy, which is the difference between the cost to construct the house and what the market price would be. Next slide, please.
Okay, so now that we've talked about home ownership, we will talk about our other home program, which is the Affordable Rental Partnership Program. And with this program, it's actually for multifamily and single-family rental projects. And with the single-family rental, it is specifically for nonprofit housing developers. And with this, you can use that money for acquisition, construction, rehabilitation, or demolition. Financial assistance for development subsidies will be in the form of a loan. The housing must serve a low to moderate income population. Your rents cannot, listen to me, cannot exceed limitations that are established by HUD. Also, the tenants must meet income guidelines, which are determined by HUD.
So for the Affordable Rental Partnership Program, it has some of the same benefits as our Home Build Partnership Program, which it provides a development gap reduction. And what we mean by development gap, if, say for instance, your overall project budget was $100,000, but you were only able to secure $70,000 in funding toward your development budget. This program is meant to help you make that other $30,000 of your development budget. Unfortunately, we don't have the funds to fund projects 100%, which is why we give you the information about gap reduction. The program also assists with financing your construction costs. It helps to reduce the finance costs overall for the project. It provides long-term financing that can be paid with your operating income. It creates credit worthiness for projects when you're partner with private lending. It provides reimbursement of some of your pre-development expenses. And it creates affordable rental housing for the community for up to 20 years. It also creates units that are comparable to market rate units for the tenants that we serve. And those tenants are the low to mod income tenants with incomes at or below 80% of the area median income. Next slide.
Okay, one thing that we all know is that housing costs have increased within the last few years. And so in looking at that, we have been looking at senior housing as well in Memphis. And so we are looking to increase the housing stock of senior housing provided here in Memphis. So there will be a special priority given to projects that will serve low to moderate income seniors. So those of you, and we've gotten several calls, quite a few calls of people that are wanting to do senior housing in the city of Memphis. So this is your opportunity to apply through this program, and we can do more affordable housing in the city. Next slide. Okay, so now that you've heard about the home programs, we're going to talk about Memphis Affordable Housing Round 3. And so this program basically provides funding to assist nonprofit or for-profit partnered with a nonprofit housing developer with costs relative to rehabilitating single-family housing. As the director mentioned earlier, we will also be dealing with home repair So those organizations can apply to do home repair in their communities that they work within, relative to Housing Trust Round 3. Okay, next slide.
So eligible activities of the Housing Trust Fund Program Round 3. As Squala mentioned, we want to provide rehabilitation of vacant single-family housing for ownership or rent. The key here is the housing must be vacant prior to the rehab of the housing. We will not be able to rehab owner-occupied housing. And for the owner-occupied homes, we will provide repair. Next slide. Again, talking about benefits of the program, it helps to reduce development budget gaps. It helps to provide finance costs for your construction costs. It helps to provide a subsidy for the overall development. And there are no federal regulations to adhere to. That does not mean there are no program guidelines or that we don't have eligibility requirements. All of those will be listed in the applications. So you must pay attention to those because again, we want to make sure that your projects are compliant, and we try to provide that on the front end so that you're aware of all of the guidelines that you'll be required to meet.
Okay, so now we will get to the, as they say, nitty gritty of the process. So we're now talking about our application process overview. So with the application process, make sure you take a look at the application checklist and make sure that you do a complete application. Please, please read all the instructions. If you have any questions, give us a call and we could assist you with that. The applications will be evaluated according to threshold assessment, project prioritization, underwriting review. And please note, if you have an incomplete application, we cannot consider it because we don't have all the information we need to do our processes internally. Applications not meeting threshold criteria, as I stated, will not be considered. So please, if you have any questions, let us know so we can help you with your process.
Okay. The threshold requirements for your applications. All applications must meet these requirements. It must serve households that have incomes at 80% or below the area median income. You must provide how the project will comply with standards set by the HUD multifamily guidelines. And that's relevant to the home program, I'm sorry. For the Memphis Affordable Housing Trust, any guidelines that you have to comply with will be listed in the application. So as Squala mentioned before, you need to make sure that you read all of the guidelines and eligibility requirements. Your project must be located within the city of Memphis, and you must include a site plan. This applies to home funds and Memphis Affordable Housing Trust funds. And you must provide evidence of site control. That's one of the eligibility requirements for our program. So we need to know how you plan to obtain site control or if you already own the site. Also, applicants must provide an appraisal and supporting pro forma assumptions. So there are forms in the application to assist you with doing this. So make sure that if there's something that you need to upload or something that you need to fill out, that you make sure that you do that in a complete form. Some of the submission requirements and exhibits that you will have to provide are listed there. Number one is your completed application. Number two is your site plan, how you will obtain site control. Most people will upload your appraisals. There's no form for that. An executive summary, including your project timeline and the defined scope for your project so that we are aware what your purpose for your project is and the population that you will be serving. And then a detailed development budget, pro forma and or cash flow analysis. And if you have questions about the forms provided in those applications, please contact us either by phone or email, and we will make sure that we get an answer for you.
Okay, so now we will actually go through a review of the application that you will fill out. And this will be presented by Nolan Martin, who is a part of the Neighborly organization. He's out of town, and we are so glad we worked with him to revise the application. And so it is so user-friendly. And so now we will turn it over to Nolan. Thank you.
All right. Thank you so much, Torla. So as Torla said, my name is Nolan Martin, and I work with Neighborly Software. We are a tech company that works with different states and municipalities to create more accessible applications through an online process. So this should help make your life a little bit easier as you're going through your application process. So the first thing that you're going to need to do is to go to this URL, and this will be provided on the Memphis website as well. And you're going to see this screen pop up first thing. Obviously, you will not have a sign-in, so you're going to need to register your account as it says here. Pretty simple to do that. All you'll do is click on register, and then you'll enter your email address and send the verification code. That's going to send you an email, and you'll be able to register then. And once you've registered, you'll then be able to sign in. So I'm going to go ahead and sign in as a participant. I've already set up this account previously. And once you sign in, you'll see this welcome screen. So you'll notice on here, I've already got an application that I've started in progress. So if you are in the middle of your application and you need to stop or can come back to it at any point, you can always come back here and log in and begin that same application. You don't have to start a new one each time or finish it all at once. But let's say I hadn't actually gotten this new or haven't started an application yet, I'll be able to come down here and pick the appropriate application that I want to start. So let's say I want to start a new housing trust fund application. I'll just click there to start a new application, and then I would put in the name of my organization. So I'm going to put in Neighborly Test, and I'll start a new application. So once you do that, you'll get some information about who to call if you have any questions or who to email. And you can just click into continue. And then you'll see the program overview, which is going to give you all of the eligibility requirements and should cover any questions that you might have. Again, if you do have any issues, you can reach out to Jocelyn. We've got the number up here as well. So if you have any questions, feel free to reach out there, but everything should be covered in this program overview. And once you click complete and continue on that page, you're then going to be able to enter into the application. So you can answer all these questions. You'll notice that some of these questions do have logic built into them. So depending on how you answer, you might see some more questions that would be relevant to your application. If I try to click on complete and continue here, you'll notice that there are some required fields that pop up. So it's not going to allow you to complete and continue until all required fields are answered. However, if you need to, say, go grab lunch or something, and you want to save the information you put in here, you don't have to click complete and continue, but you can click save, and that's going to save that information. So that when you pop back in, you're able to then complete the rest of that application. You will notice that there are about nine different steps here. You can bounce in between these steps as you're filling everything out, but there are required questions on each page, at least one. So you will not be able to submit your final application until you've answered at least all the required questions. As I said, you can bounce around on the application. So feel free to fill out the information as you gather it and have everything that you need. Within the different steps, you will notice there are a few specific questions that may be drop down, so you can pick what you need. Some are text fields. If you see these large text boxes, you can fill out a very long narrative as needed. And there will also be, you do get warnings if you haven't saved information. So that's very helpful. I wanted to touch on the background and project and program experience section for y'all. These are listed as tables, so you're able to add in as many rows as you need. Do not feel like you're limited by that at all. It's as many as you need to provide the information that is needed. And you'll also see sections where there are document uploads. So all you have to do here is upload your file, and that will be part of your application. You will notice, like in this example, staff descriptions is a required document. So if you try to complete and continue, you won't be able to actually click that until you have uploaded your file here. So let me go ahead and upload a quick file just so you can see how this works. All right, and now you'll see my complete and continue button is available for me to push. All right. Now I'm going to go in on the back end here and just submit this application really quick as an administrator. You would not be able to do this, but I want to show you what you will see on the front end. So I'm going to come back to your dashboard here. And you'll notice I've got my 2 test applications here. Within the project submit section, I'm gonna pull this over so you can see it. There are a few documents that are going to be linked out, so you can click to read over them, and you'll be able to see everything that you're agreeing to within this document section. Just gonna click through this really quick. Because we have several certifications. You can enter in your name. If it's a CHDO project, you can put that in there. If not, that can be left blank. Put in our name, and then you'll get your electronic signature and sign that. And once you click, oh, and as you'll see, there is that information that is required, so it's not going to let you submit until you click that. And once you click complete and submit, I'm going to come back into our dashboard now, and you'll see the status has been changed to application submitted. That's what the administrators will see. And on your end, we're going to give this a good refresh now. You'll see your application has now been submitted. When you come in here to view and edit, you will see all of your information is here. One thing that will change that because I did not click submit on each of these steps, they will be locked so that you will not be able to reopen them. Once you click submit, it would be required that a member of the administrative team would have to come in here and reopen it for you. So just know once you click that final complete and submit, this information will be locked for you. For example, this here, because I clicked submit on it, I'm not able to enter in any new information. So just be aware of that and know if you need any assistance or need to change any information, you will have to go through the Jocelyn's office to reopen those steps. All right. If you run into any issues with logins or any questions you might have, there is this help box down here in this corner, and that connects you to technical support for Neighborly. So you can put in different messages, or if you aren't sure what exactly the issue is, you can always select other, give your detailed description. If you need to attach any screenshots, you can definitely do that here and click on submit, and that will send a ticket directly to Neighborly support. If it is a technical issue, we'll be able to help out. And if it's not something that Neighborly is able to determine, such as where the status of your application stands, we'll just direct you to the appropriate email or phone number to get you that information that you need. All right. That is all I have. I will go ahead and stop sharing and turn this over to the team at Memphis.
Okay, thank you, Nolan. Appreciate that. Now, we know that's a lot of information at one time. So as we said, if you have any questions, it's very user-friendly, but just give us a call. If you get stuck anywhere, you just are unsure in any part of the application, just give us a call and we'll work with you to get you through it. And so now we will have our question and answer session, which will be handled by Jocelyn Eddings. And also, as FYI, the link to the application has been dropped in the chat line. So feel free to go to that after this is over with, if you want to go in and start on your application today. As you can see, we're excited. So we're looking forward to seeing all the applications that will flow in. So help yourself, and thank you again for attending. And now Jocelyn will deal with the question and answer session. Thank you.
Okay, so some of your questions I have been providing answers to as Nolan was doing his presentation. So I'm just going to try to address as many questions as we have time for, starting with a question from Mr. Keith D. Lee. It says, are there agencies that provide free appraisals for seniors? I am not aware of any agencies that provide free appraisals. Anyone else have anything to add? I'm just not aware of any agencies that provide free appraisals, regardless of your income status or whether or not you're a senior. So we'll move on to the next question from Ms. Stephanie Wade. It says, does the mean, wait a minute, my screen jumped. It says, does this mean Memphis Affordable Housing Trust Fund Round 2 is closed if Memphis Affordable Housing Trust Fund Round 3 is open? No, that does not mean that. Both rounds will be open at the same time. There is an application for each round, and both applications will be located on our City of Memphis website. So you may apply for both. Let me make sure I answered your complete question. I asked because my project, multifamily housing, is in more alignment with round 2, and so I would like to apply for round 2. Yes, you may still apply for round 2. Round 2 will remain open as long as we still have funding for it. The funding is awarded on a first come, first served basis. And we do still have funding at this time, so the round 2 is still open. And then it says, can you discuss the threshold requirements, examples, number of units that must meet 20, 60, 80%. All of those details are listed in the application on the guidelines and eligibility pages. There's a chart for the income requirements, and there is also a chart for rental requirements. We've also given you the cap for the sales price. So any information from HUD that requires you to adhere to some type of requirements, we will provide the chart for you in the application. Once looking at that chart, if you still have questions, you can give us a call and we'll try to answer it to the best of our ability. Now, the next question says, can you discuss the capacity assessment tool available in Memphis? This is a Memphis Affordable Housing Trust Fund question. Does the project or program align with a strategic plan or capacity assessment tool? If you select yes, name the plan or capacity assessment test and describe how below. I'm not sure where you found that question. Was that in, I'm not familiar with that being a part of the round 2. Because I'm not familiar with a capacity assessment tool. Now, we would like to know if your project aligns with any strategic plans that are that have been developed for the Memphis area. And sometimes our Office of Planning and Development has different plans available. You may also find some plans done by community development agencies or nonprofits, or maybe the University of Memphis. So if your project aligns with one of those plans, it's helpful to let us know that. But as far as the capacity assessment tool, I'm not sure what that is, and I don't believe that was a part of round 2 or round 3. However, I can check on that. And if you would submit me an email, I can try to find out more about that and answer that in an email.
And Jocelyn, let me jump in right here because I believe that tool that's used with Build Memphis relative to CDCs. But like she said, we could check into it more and just send us an email.
Right, but there is not a requirement
no
for you to meet that. However, I guess if you have participated in the capacity assessment tool under the Build Memphis, then you can just let us know that as a part of your application. Next question, it says, does the applications have rolling or set deadlines? All of our real estate applications under Housing and Community Development are open applications. And so you can apply at any time, and we will make the applications available as long as there is funding available. Next question. It says, will the funding be available as people are searching for land, buildings, etc., or does something have to already be acquired? How close do you have to be to securing land, property, ready to renovate before you can actually file for any of these applications? Okay, so with the home funded programs, your project has to be what's considered shovel ready. So you need to have some type of plan to acquire the land prior to going into a development agreement with the city of Memphis. You don't necessarily have to have acquired the land at the time that you make your application. But if we decide to approve your application and award your project funding, at the time that we decide to execute an agreement with the ownership agency, you will have to have acquired the land. Under the Affordable Housing Trust Fund, it's pretty much the same way as far as the land. You have to give us a timeline for when you plan to acquire the land. And prior to the city of Memphis going into any type of contract with you for the project, you will have to have ownership of the property. Next question, for owner occupied home repair, what docs are required for site control? We would just have to have evidence of the homeowner and that they actually own the property. So usually that's a warranty deed, some type of deed to show ownership of the property. And we would review that and verify that prior to allowing any work to be done with the funds awarded. Next question, for home repair, is there a specific application process we need to adhere to, or is there flexibility for determining how we want to select repair clients? Yes, there are specific details in the guidelines that you will have to follow in order to select a particular house to receive the repairs that you plan to do with the funds awarded under the Memphis Affordable Housing Trust Fund Round 3. And all of that will be included in the application. Next question, what are the due dates for these programs? Again, it's an open application process. Our applications remain open where you can apply any day as long as there are funds available for the program. When we don't have funding available for the program, we will put a notice to let you know that, and we will not accept applications when we don't have funding. Next question, I see the minimum application amount for round 2 was $100K. Is there a minimum for round 3? What is the total amount available in round 3? I'm not aware of us setting a minimum for round 3. And the total amount of funds available for round 3 is $1 million. And that's for all applicants interested. So once that funding is awarded, then we will close the applications for round 3. Next question, please describe more details about eligibility requirements for owner-occupied senior repair options and what is the difference between repairs and rehabilitation. In each application, there are clear and specific details about eligibility requirements, and there is a list of what's eligible under rehabilitation, and there's also a list of what's eligible under repairs. So, you'll have to check the application link for that. It's very clear. There are details about what's considered rehab and what is considered repairs. Are there any other questions? Okay. Well, I will say that we plan to have a link available later on today where you will be able to access the applications and review them in their entirety. You are welcome to email your questions or contact our office with your questions about the applications once they're posted. Also, there will be a copy of this presentation available so that you can review this presentation if you want to go back and look over it again. I see we have another question. Will you have in-person workshops for people interested in these programs? No. This is the workshop that we're providing for all of these programs. It's kind of an update or I guess a highlight for the home programs. And this is more of like an announcement for the Memphis Affordable Housing Trust Fund Round 3. All of, as I said before, all of the applications are very detailed. They should provide all of the information that you need. The application will have documents from HUD for you to review as far as income requirements, rent requirements. There are detailed lists about eligibility requirements and guidelines that you have to follow. If you're still unclear after you've read through everything, you're welcome to email our office or contact us. Yes, there is a criteria for assessing applications that is also included in each application. There are a certain number of points that each application can receive, and based on the information you provide and our underwriting guidelines, we will go through your applications in detail to make sure that you provided everything, and we will assess the points according to what you provide. And then we will also underwrite your application according to our program guidelines, and then we will notify you of whether or not your application was approved, or if you need to make adjustments. You are allowed, if your application is denied for any reason, to reapply once you have made corrections. So as long as there are funding, there's funding still available for the programs and your application was denied, if you can make the corrections, you are allowed to reapply. Okay, Twyla, I think that's it.
Okay, I think another question may have popped up. Oh, well, thank you all. So again, thank you all for attending today's workshop. We are looking forward to receiving those applications, and Jocelyn Eddings is our person administering the applications, and she'll be administering the program. She's the manager, senior manager here at ACD, and as you can see, she does a lot. So, and she's excited, I'm excited, Nolan's excited, everybody's excited. So send those applications in to us as soon as you get a chance, and have a great rest of the day. Thank you to Vanessa as well as Director Cash for this session. Have a great day. Thank you.